Excited to be here. Certainly, exciting. I had not realized until our sports information person told us this is the first Sweet 16 that Cincinnati had been to. I think we have a pretty strong history in volleyball, but certainly this is a mile marker. So excited for Jordan and the commitment that she's made to our program, and looking back at the time that Jordan committed to play for Cincinnati, we certainly weren't at this level. So it's pretty interesting to see the evolution of the program and the heights that we've reached, and then also exciting for a player like Armania to come in as a young player and have this experience. That's one thing certainly I've talked about in several of our press conferences that we can't give as coaches is experience, and nothing more invaluable than this. So excited for our team, and excited for tomorrow, and we'll certainly just approach it like we have the rest of the season.
We'll open it up for questions.
I'd like to ask Jordan a question just about the Pitt match. Obviously, that's a huge win for you guys. I mean, going right down to the wire, I guess you guys were behind in the fifth set a couple times, had to come back. And I know you had a huge match and family ties to Pitt. I was just curious about what the significance of that win, just beyond just the programs, getting to this point, but just personally.
Yeah, I think it was really exciting to go there knowing that I do have family ties. My dad played basketball there. My uncle played football there. And obviously, for them, they love that school, but I think they were definitely rooting for us in that game. And so that was nice to have their support behind me and just the whole team. So it was a really fun game, and like you said, it went down to the wire, and just really exciting to come out on top.
Molly, now that you know, this is the furthest the program's gone.
Yeah, right.
It's sunk in a little bit. Maybe just talk about this season in general and kind of what has gotten you this far.
Yeah, I think it's a really great question, because you asked me this question at the end of August or even at the end of September, I think, not only are we young, but we have a lot of new players in our program. And so it takes time, just like any sort of relationship does. And this is a pretty upfront and in-your-face relationship, right? You live, eat, breathe volleyball together 7 days a week. There's no break. The break is your downtime is going to class. There's not necessarily downtime. So I think the trust level that this team had in the coaching staff and in each other to build the relationships that needed to be built to build. We always talk about, I think the ground level is trust. If you don't have trust, you're not going to get anywhere. Trust and respect. So they trusted in the process, and we certainly are a different team than we were a couple months ago. And time has done us well, but I think just the buy-in as far as, hey, this is the team identity that we're going to create, and this is who we are. And I think from, top down to Jordan, who obviously is a very significant player on our team and leader, not just the points that she has the ability to score, but what she brings as a senior, as a captain, how she has helped the younger players come along in their roles, to the players that aren't getting any playing time. We have had some really fantastic buy-in, and that's difficult to do, but really it's the only way to be, I think, this successful in your season. So it's been an evolution and a really nice one. We're pretty young top to bottom.
Armania, what does it mean to not only represent your school but your hometown at this stage of the tournament?
It's pretty cool, being able to represent Cincinnati, and there's a few other girls on the team from Cincinnati too, and it's nice being able to, see the Bearcat paw on your shirt. And, I grew up going to Bearcat matches when I was younger, so it's a really full circle being able to play here and being able to play at Stanford against Penn State. It's pretty awesome, yeah.
So Jordan, playing for the U.S. national team, what kinds of things did you learn from that experience, and maybe did any of them help you kind of as you came back to play for this team that you could maybe help other players with?
Yeah, I think obviously I learned a lot this summer. I felt like I grew a lot as a person and a player, and I think one of the biggest things that I took away from this summer was just being a better problem solver. And I think that's something that not only the coaches taught us as players, but also the older players on the team, they really help instill that in me. And I think that's something that I've been able to help bring back to Cincinnati and help my teammates just problem solve. And Coach always talks about, when you're not playing well, it's not like you can just stop playing. You have to find a way. And even when it's not pretty, you can still be a really great problem solver and find a way to win a game. And so I think that's probably the biggest lesson that I learned this summer.
Molly, do you feel that Jordan is the best player in school history?
Oh, there's no question. Yeah, and like I said, we've had some really great programs in Cincinnati's past, so some really fantastic players. But there's no question about that. And from everything that she's accomplished institutionally to on a national level, there's no question. And I would even say, one of the best athletes that's come through the department.
Coach, you said of Armania that you said, I don't know what it is about her that other people haven't seen. As a former player, can you just explain her skill set when you say that about her, what really impresses you?
Sure. I think, the thing about the setting role that, as coaches talk about this a lot as far as your setter being the quarterback, you can teach the game, I think, but when someone has the natural knack to feel what's going on the court, to sense that, to not be so scripted, and can kind of just adjust according to what's going on, right? Because we can only control the ball when it's on our side of the net. There's a lot of times that we don't control the ball, so it's hard to give exact script for everything that we do. I think Armania's natural ability to just sense what the flow of the game is and what needs to happen is one thing that's really difficult to teach, and that's something that I saw in her. This is a pretty interesting story, but we saw Armania late in her senior year playing, and she plays at one of the premier high schools in Cincinnati. And so even sitting at the game, I don't know if she knows this, but I made a couple text messages, hey, who is this kid? What's going on with her? Because I really like what she's doing on the court. And she had only run a 6.2 in her entire career, right? Most of your career?
Yeah, except for high school.
You were a little, you all were back and forth.
Yeah,
You were back and forth a little bit.
For club, it was always 6'2".
In club, always 6'2".
Yeah.
So, I think, there's a lot of different styles of quarterback, and Armania is one of these styles that just stays really even. She's never going to get too high. She's never going to get too low. So I think the consistency and knowing that you're always going to get what you're going to get out of her is huge in leadership. When you know what you're going to get out of someone, you can be a little bit more comfortable and confident in matches. And so I think her demeanor is fantastic. I think she gives enough vocals to be heard. There's some setters that are really vocal and have a more loud presence on the court. I think hers is just one of stability, and that's comfort when you're an attacker on the court or even a passer on the court. Naturally, she has a fantastic overhead set. I think that's one of her best setting skill sets. But this is another thing too. I think she's just a good person. It's easy to follow someone and have someone in that role when they're genuinely a good person and know that they want the best for the team.
Jordan, in terms of your leadership, because you were late returning to the team and you are young and there's new faces, how did you approach that to come in and be that leader and be that voice when you were kind of joining them late?
Yeah, I think that was definitely something that I wanted to be intentional with, because, I was coming back to the team basically at the start of preseason, and I didn't know almost half of the team. And so Coach actually, for our preseason trip as a team to kind of bond with each other, took us all camping, and we got to go horseback riding, which is my favorite thing in the world. So it was just a really good opportunity to get to know the girls and just bond with them. And there was one night where we were in cabins with 4 girls, and I texted the team and I was like, hey, anybody want to come hang out? We're just going to talk. And so I just kind of used that as a time to get to know as many girls as possible and just ask them questions about their life, like how they grew up, stuff like that. Just so, when you get out on the court, having that connection that is, goes beyond the court is really important, and it helps build that trust. And so I think that was something that was huge, just to be able to build that trust and get to know them better as people.